Chapter 1. Ain't no lesson like a boat lesson. My mother taught my father, who had a third grade education, how to read and write. He worked for a construction company, over my brothers and I helped my father at his construction site. But working all day with my hands, doing back-breaking labor, sometimes outside in the hot summer or the freezing cold, wasn't for me. When I was not working or going to school, I would hang with my boys Ricardo, Manny, Butch, El, Lil John, Jill, and Biggie Wig. We would go to the same schools, Parkwood grade school, then Glenville High. When Ricardo said they were going to Kent State, I decided that I would go too, and I replied. When I told my mother that I wanted to go to college, she said, "Baby, you're gonna be something." Her voice of confidence meant everything to me. It was a big deal for me to be accepted to Kent State. I was the first person in my family to go to college. Attending Kent was cool. I had never lived away from home, and being around a group of people who didn't look like me exposed me to new things. I had a lot of great experiences and learned that the world was bigger than 112th Street in Cleveland. One day I was home for a visit. My mother called me into the kitchen and sat me down at the table. She read a letter to me from my school. I had flunked out of Kent State University. It took me completely by surprise. I was on academic probation, but I didn't think they were going to put me out just like that. My routine was to drop class if I was not performing well to avoid failing. It turned out that in doing so, I had not accumulated enough credits. I sat there with my mother crying. I'm telling you this story because if you don't know already, you will soon learn that life can be a four-letter word. You can be cruising along one day with everything going well, and then the next day you lose your job. You find out that you have a serious health problem. You get evasted, or you unexpectedly lose a loved one. It is just a part of life. There is no way you are going to make it out of this world without spending some time down in the valley or in a dark place. But this isn't the time to give up. This is the time to understand that God is trying to lead you to your purpose and to your gift. To use adversity to your advantage. Don't let it stop you. Instead, allow it to take you to the next level. Allow it to teach you the things you need to know to take you to the next level. My father always said, "Ain't no lesson like a book lesson." I was 19 and I had failed big time in flunking out. A lot of my peers at school wrote me off. One guy said, "Man, you don't know how to finish nothing." And some others made it clear that they thought I wouldn't amount to much. It was tough to be hit with a failure like that so early in adulthood. If I had not been careful, it could have defined the rest of my life. The thing about me, though, is that I immediately try to find the one glimmer of light in the darkness. No matter what happens, there has got to be a glimmer of light. I may not see it right away, but I'm ever optimistic. I interrupted my situation as I failed at college. There must be a reason. What can I learn from this? What can I gain from this? I don't know any successful people who haven't failed. They probably wouldn't be who they are or where they are without those failures. Failures makes you who you are. They show you what you can overcome. They help you believe in yourself during adversity. Is not the time to sit there and lick your wounds. Don't give up on your dreams. Accept that life is a series of ups and downs, and that you will overcome the obstacles. When successful people are going through adversity, they quickly put in their rear view. They quickly put it in their rear view mirror and reframe the story. Let's consider resignation. Yeah, resignation. Behind the scenes, two business partners don't see eye to eye on how to run their operations. The infighting is tearing the company apart. One person decided to leave. Here's how he may choose to frame it. I have spent 20 wonderful years working with Bob, who has a great business mind. I have learned a great deal from working for this impressive organization and from Bob's astute business practices. However, I have decided to move on to a new company and bring along all of my invaluable years of experience. Leave adversity in the past by putting it in your rear view mirror. Reframe your story by looking at the positives. Don't complain that Bob did you wrong, and instead concentrate on all that you have learned at the company and the ways you are gonna use that knowledge to move forward. The windshield on your car is big. The rear view mirror is small. There is a reason for that. Because you can't drive your car forward looking in the rear view mirror. When I left Kansas State, I did my best not to let that failure stop me from moving toward my future. I still believe that I had many options. I had a roof over my head, and my parents were there for me. I jumped and got a job at the Ford Motor Company. I started out making $13.5 an hour, and with overtime I made up to as much as $27 an hour. It was 1977, and that was decent money. Ford gave me the opportunity to get a car and help my parents with some bills. So hold up, partner. I went from being a college student a minute ago, making zero, 10 auto worker, making good money. I think that was one of my first realizations. The struggle and abundance are connected. The struggle comes along with the abundance. It has been my experience that you will usually enjoy abundance in some form and endure struggle at the same time. Growth is all about struggling in abundance. Every successful person will tell you that with more success comes more responsibility, more struggle, more adversity. So if you expect to have more to do and to do more, you have to step up. It is a part of the journey. Deep down, the fact that I was no longer a college student bugged me. It really did, but I kept focusing only on the bright side. I was working and I had some money. Working was positive and something that I could build on. I regularly visited my friends at Kansas State on the weekends. I gave my buddies loans, money for gas, books, groceries, whatever they needed. I also took them out to eat. My visits became a ray of light for them. I took my miserable situation and found a glimmer of light. We were still hanging out, but the difference was that they were able to have fun on the weekends and still do well in school. I watched them progress in their lives. They had their futures mapped out, and I was sitting on the sidelines. I wondered why I was different. Why had I flunked out? It wasn't like we weren't all on the same level intellectually. We would all been accepted to the school. We would all been up to the same shenanigans on the weekends. This question troubled me for a while, until it dawned on me that my heart simply hadn't been in it. It was clear that I hadn't thought it through. An advertising degree wouldn't have gotten me any closer to my dream of being on television than any job that just supported me would. Going to college wasn't my dream. When I understood this, it became easier for me to put my failure in my rear view mirror and to stop focusing on it. 2 years later, my friends were graduating from college. Although I had put the failure behind me, I was still somewhat embarrassed and hurt that I didn't finish my own degree. Even worse, Ford has started laying off workers and shutting down plants. My friends were graduating and I was getting laid off. At that point in my life, I didn't choose to jump. Rather, I was pushed off the cliff without warning. The bright side had turned dark again. I had to try to figure out what to do. When those lights went out at Ford, it would have been really easy for me to let my mind go to a negative place. What kept me moving forward was the thought, what's next? After I got laid off from Ford, I was willing to try anything. I signed up to sell Amway. Somebody said, you can be a diamond distributor. I did that. I sold Dick Gregory's Bahamian diet. I signed up to sell Shackley products, A.L. Williams Insurance. I sold that too. If you told me that I could make some money, I went for it. I jumped. I did not care. I was throwing my butt off that cliff in a heartbeat. If I had no idea how to sell a soup, it didn't matter. Over and over again, I repeatedly jumped. It was like jumping into an abyss. I had no idea of the outcome. I jumped merely based on the hope that I could make it. Although I didn't know it at the time, I was open to what God had in store for me. Working at Ford had put some much needed money in my pocket, but I knew that it wasn't tied to my gift. It was far from what God put me on the planet to do. That moment in the valley was necessary for me to get about the business of owning my life. It brings to mind a story somebody told me. A young man went to the hospital to visit his grandmother. She was very ill. When he arrived at the hospital, he could clearly see that she wasn't gonna make it. He started to cry. His grandmother said, "Baby, I'm getting ready to leave this world." "Grandma, ain't nothing wrong with you. You're gonna be all right." "No, baby, I'm gonna leave this hospital. It is time for me to go," she told him. He cried and held on to his grandmother a little while longer. Before he left, she asked, "Do you know your great-grandfather's name?" He said no. "You know what? You know why?" she asked. He shook his head. She said, "Because he didn't leave you nothing. He didn't leave you nothing. Before you leave this earth, I want you to live your life so that your grandchildren will know your name." This story had a profound impact on my life. I know that God wanted me to hear those words. Her words gave me purpose. Ever since I heard them, my goal in life is to live in such a way that my children's grandchildren will know my name. Her words made me recognize that I have to always dream big and to keep moving forward if I'm gonna live a life in which I will leave a legacy, not only to my children but also to my grandchildren. As long as God continues to wake you up in the morning, it can't be over. It is never over. Now, if you are waking up next to the wrong person, you can feel like it's over. When you are down in the valley, it is time to explore and investigate the possibilities. In every dark moment, you have an opportunity to travel down the hallway of life until you find the right door for you. Even when you get a door slammed in your face, it just means it is time to turn around another doorknob. Doorknob. And maybe another and another. So I put one foot in front of the other and I took a leap of faith. I jumped to the next thing. When I got laid off at Ford, thousands of people also lost their jobs at the same time. It showed me that losing my job wasn't about me or my character. It wasn't personal, it was about the economy. If I hadn't lost the job at Ford, I might still be there today and never would have found out what my true gift was or how much more I could accomplish. Along your journey, when one door closes, there is always another door you can open. In fact, some of these doors will be slammed in your face by other people. And it's perfectly normal to want to hit them in the face with the same door. Yes, do it. Just kidding. This is funny, actually. Anyway, every door isn't for you. You can waste a lot of time wedging your feet in door jams or kicking in doors that aren't meant for you. The doors that God opens for you, you are not difficult doors to walk through. You can feel when God brings the right things in your life at the right time because it is effortless and smooth sailing. And suddenly everybody seemed to be encouraging you to pursue the exact same thing God called you to do. Have the courage to walk through the door He has opened specially for you. Do something that pushes you out of your comfort zone. Be willing to jump even when you don't know where you will land. Your life is a precious gift that is available for limited time only. At some point, you're gonna have to choose to stop living your life in fear and get out of on that cliff and step off in faith. Only then will you ever be able to soar. When you are facing adversity, you can't waste time asking God, why me? Don't let one door slamming in your face keep you from moving on the next one. Don't let one loss stop you from believing that more is possible for you. Colonel Sanders opened the first Kentucky Fried Chicken restaurant when he was 62 years old. Nobody believed that he could do it. KFC is now the business model for all other chicken franchises. Why? Because he never gave up. You have got to have a piece of God to hold on to when things get bad. The difficulties you are going through now are actually helping you become the person you need to be later on to appreciate your forthcoming riches. I had to go through every single one of those challenging experiences in my life to turn me into the man I am today. If I hadn't flunked out of the Kent State, I might not be where I am today. Graduating with a degree in advertising may not have put me on the road that lead to the blessings I have today. Lessons like these have taught me time and time again that nothing worth having is simple or straightforward. You can pick anything that you have gone through or wanted and find the truth in that statement. I have found that life is a series of setbacks, but a setback can be an opportunity. It can put you in the position to uncover your gift. Setbacks are temporary. There is not a single living soul who will not have to make a comeback after being sidetracked from his or her journey. You may even have to make more than one, or two, or 10. As you travel through life, you have to believe that God's plan for you is greater than any plan you could ever come up with. But to reach it, you will have to walk on a road filled with adversity, a road filled with struggle, but also with abundance. Life is gonna get bad sometimes. You will make poor choices, you will fail, you will lose hope, and maybe want to give up. If you jump and trust that He will be there to help you soar, there is nothing you can't achieve. Believe me, I know how hard it can be to keep your hope alive. I know that it can sometimes be hard to get out of bed, to go to a job you don't love, one that doesn't challenge you or even help you pay all your monthly bills. I know what it feels like to be in a relationship or a marriage that isn't right for you, that doesn't sustain you the way you needed it to be. You needed it to. But can you afford to stay where you are, living day to day without hope or faith? I recommend that you get up and do something that brings you one step closer to being in a better situation. I encourage you to trust in yourself, in your gift, and in God. When you look at bad breakup, a failed marriage, or a missed opportunity for a promotion, you have to stop and ask yourself, do I really want to spend another year in this situation? Do I really want to stay at a job that refuses to give me the position and salary that I deserve? Maybe you shouldn't fight so hard or be disappointed. There is a reason for every disappointment and failure. I see it as the impetus that leads us to bigger and better things. Yes, you can feel down and disappointed. You can be frustrated. You can even take some time to think about your life, where you are going or where you want to go. But what you can't do is give up. Nothing comes in the package you expect or arrives exactly when you want it to. Let us say you are a woman who is married to a very successful man, and all of a sudden he says he doesn't want you anymore. He wants a divorce, and you get served papers. You've been standing by this man all these years, and you will get blindsided with a divorce. Your whole world is crumbling around you. You start taking a dive, and you don't know how you're gonna recover. Immediately, you address the hurt. You call your girlfriends. You all meet up and talk about it. Drink wine, shed a few tears. As hurt and pain is part of life, you can't let this moment in the valley take you out. You can't stay there. It might not be easy at first, but try to look on the bright side. Did you really want to stay with someone who doesn't want to be with you? Were you really happy anyway? And since you have been there that whole time standing by him, aren't you entitled to sizable alimony and perhaps a child's support? You know, have the freedom and resources to go and discover who you are, who you really are, because you are free from having to hold him up, keeping everything together. Let's find a glimmer of hope in the pain. I could have let flunking out of college define my aspirations. Instead, I jumped to a job that carried me along for a while and gave me the confidence to do other things. When I lost the fourth job, I was down and desperate, but I see now that it did what I needed to do. It got me through a hard time after having to leave college. Make sure that you are open to and available for the greater possibilities in your life, for the bigger blessings. You will never be able to fully enjoy what God has in store for you if you don't get out of bed or out of your house or trying anything new. You have to be open to new experiences and opportunities. You have to take a chance on yourself. Get out of your couch seat expectations and get yourself first class vision for your goals and your dreams. God has so much more in store for you than what you can see or even imagine right now. Believe in Him and have faith. When life knocks you down, don't see it as a failing. It added experience that you now have under your belt. The more experiences you have, the more life currency you earn, which you can use to go out and tackle bigger opportunities with bigger risks for a rewarding outcome. The invaluable experience comes with a price. There are no scholarships in life. There are no rewards in life for just showing up. You pay for it. The bigger the failure, the bigger the cost is. You bought it, it is yours. Now you can learn from it. When you are adding currency to the bank of your life, you won't even realize how much you have banked until life starts hitting you with some closed doors. You won't know until you have to face your hard times how much you have inside yourself to overcome them. Even when you feel like you are about to go into a negative balance, you have to trust that you will never go bankrupt. As long as you are moving forward, there will always be something else you can deposit into the bank of your life. No mistake bankrupts you for life. Failure isn't final. Failure is simply an experience that has already finished. It is all in how you handle it. It's an opportunity to learn about yourself and to grow. When you are gone through adversity, look for a lesson in it. In every single moment of adversity in your life, there are lessons to be learned. If you let the adversity crumble you, you will lie there and wallow in the failure. But life is 10% what happened and 90% what you are gonna do about it. Several years ago, there were a lot of rumors going around about me and my personal life and my business, and the majority of them were flat out not true. The rumors that were being spread were very, very damaging, to the point where I had to explain myself to sponsors and the like. it had gotten really ugly for me, both personally and professionally, as well as for my family, quite naturally. For most of us, our instinct is to respond. Because I had a platform which was my my nation my nationally syndicated radio show, I felt like I could have opened up my mic and start blasting back. It was then that my friend Anderson Cooper called. Steve, come come on my show and I will help you straighten it out. He had always been very friendly towards me, and he's a great guy. Okay, cool. My appearance on his show was going to be on a Monday night. The Saturday before, I got a call from Taylor Perry. He wanted to know how I was doing, given all the rumors. Hey, buddy, you hanging in there? Nah, man, I'm dying over here. I'm really hurting. I'm in a world of pain, but it's going to be alright because I'm gonna the Anderson Cooper show and straighten this all out. He's giving me a shot to tell my side of it and deflect some of the lies. You ain't going on no Anderson Cooper show, said Taylor Perry. I got quiet for a moment before I spoke. Taylor, did you hear what I said? This is Anderson Cooper. Taylor Perry went to explain, when they are talking about you, these rumors, it's a blog. When you respond, it's a press conference. Sit still, and in 2 weeks it will all go away. The bottom feeders will find something else because they like fresh doo-doo. Right, man? The only problem was it felt like it was more than 2 weeks. It felt like an eternity. It felt the hellfire I was in the midst of felt like an eternity. I was being discussed everywhere, including on YouTube. I don't listen to many people who haven't been knocked down by life. I don't talk a lot of advice from folks who talk a good game but aren't out there on the court of life taking their shots. I recommended seeking advice from people who have traveled the road you have traveled, who have the experience to give you good advice, not people who try to give you advice about things they don't know anything about. They may mean well, but their limited experience could affect you negatively. With every lesson you learn, you add more confidence and gain more strength for the next part of your journey. But you must determine that the experience was a lesson, not a failure. If you consider the experience a failure, then you lose confidence. A series of failures, losing a bit of confidence each time, will leave you so unsure of yourself that you won't even try to get back in the game. You have got to determine that your experiences are lessons, not failures, not mistakes, lessons. If I wasted time addressing everyone who said something negative about me, I would never have time to focus on the real reason God put me here on earth. Every moment you spend addressing a critic is a valuable moment that you take away from your dream. It makes sense that my life has not been a straight line. My life's been filled with ups and downs, success and failure, great achievements and deep losses. I have found that in every moment of adversity, I have found that in every moment of adversity there is a lesson. The sooner I recognize this, the sooner I put the adversity behind me. Don't make your past mistakes larger by focusing all your attention on them and neglecting to concentrate on your future success. God has already gotten you through the mistake, so don't keep in front of you. Life is too short to spin your wheels regretting the choices you have already made. It happened, it's over, let it be done. The faster you can get to the bright side, the quicker you can move on with your life towards your lesson. You can't let setbacks, mistakes, or disappointments keep you down or hold you back. You are not the first person who's gotten a divorce. You are not the first person to have lost a loved one. You are not the first person who's lost a job. Don't let worrying about your past mistakes hold you back. God will accept you with all of your flaws. When you understand how great God is in your life, you don't have to keep bringing up your past failures. Failure is a wonderful teacher, and when you make mistakes and you recover from them and you treat them as valuable learning experience, that is when you grow and gain something meaningful to share. It is okay for you to do better, be better, and want better for your life. If you keep moving on your path, God will change your life over time. God will take all your mistakes and failures and package them for your own good. Don't let other people's opinion of what you have done in your past or can do in your future hold you back either. I have done a lot of things in my life that I haven't always been proud of, but I recognize that I am the sum total of my past. You can't let anyone hold you to your past. You know what you used to do. You know where you used to be. When God forgives your mistakes, you don't have any reason in the world to let someone's opinion of who you used to be stop you from getting where you are trying to go. Move forward when the relationship is over. What are you going to do? Are you gonna stay there and wonder why it ended? If you do that, you will be preventing a new relationship from happening because you have buried yourself in the old one. Sometimes the best deal is to let someone else take that used car off your hands, the one that's broken, don't work right, stalls out, runs hot, got no brakes, sputters, has cracked tail lights and blown engine. Maybe it wasn't the right relationship for you. You have to keep moving forward to the next one. But during the time, work on yourself. Enjoy being single for a minute. Do the things you couldn't do before in your relationship. Enjoy your time alone. Work on yourself. Determine what you really want in a partner. This lesson period is perfect for figuring it out. And the lesson is that if one man wanted you, I can promise you that two more have wanted you along the way too. Behind every disappointment, there is a purpose, a message. Flunking out of Kent State taught me a valuable lesson. It showed me that I had no vision when I went to college. When you jump with a vision of who you are, why you are here, and where you want to go, that's when you jumped with a purpose. Remember that God's plan is always greater than your plan for yourself. I met a woman on a campus at Kent State named Idia Washington. She thought I was funny, and she would always say to me, "Steve, you missed your calling. You should be on TV." She was the first person to ever speak those words into my life other than me. They had a more profound effect on me than she will ever know. If I would gone to Kent only to hear Idia say those words to me, then my time there was truly invaluable, even without a degree. You can't accept to get everything you want just the way you want it. It took leaving college for me to find my path. Sometimes God allows us to go through an experience to get a different lesson from the one we expected. On your journey, pursue your passion in such a way that you are open to other opportunities. The most important lesson can be learned only through your experience. As you go through life's ups and downs, hills and valleys, the successes and the failures, use the experiences to uncover the gift that God put inside you, and be on a mission to unlock the doors that will lead to your success. One failure at a time. The road to success is always under construction. There will be detours, roadblocks, bumps, and dead ends. But when life takes you off course, open your eyes to the possibilities of the new road ahead of you. Try not to be so focused on only one path or one goal. It is normal to be frustrated or disappointed when you face adversity, but you never know if not taking a road has led you away from making a huge mistake or off the wrong path. God puts those detours in your way so you can get to the road that you are supposed to be on. A while after I got laid off from Ford, I applied for a job as a field agent for all the state. I would never been through such an experience interview process. I went on 6 different interviews for that position. Every time I would suit up and bring my A game for the interview. When I came back the sixth time, the HR manager told me, "Steve, you are just not the kind of guy we want at all state." I could have been disappointed or frustrated or felt like I would wasted my time, but I looked at that closed door and kept walking down the hallway to my next interview as an insurance agent at another company. And I got that job. I quit in less than a year. Of course, I couldn't have known that my rejection from Allstate and my quitting my job at another company would eventually lead me to unlocking my gift as a comedian. But being open to that detour and being willing to try another door created the opportunity for me to be redirected to the path that has led me to where I am today. God never promised you that life would be a smooth journey from one place to another. The low points in your life are as necessary for you as the high points. The mistakes that too many people make is allowing those tough times to keep them in one place. Once you get to a roadblock and face adversity, you think, "Hey God, I don't want that anymore. I can do this." Nobody wants to willingly face adversity or to struggle in life, but in order to develop and grow and ultimately to be able to jump to the next level, you have to be able to face adversity along the way and move past it. Have you ever seen a little kid get on the monkey bars? The monkey bars are no fun if you stay on one bar. The thing about the monkey bars is you have got to let go of the bar you are on to get to the next one. You have to put one hand up, let go. Put your other hand up, let go. That's the only way monkey bars are fun. If you are hanging on to one bar and not trying to get to the next, Not only are you not having any fun, but you also aren't going to get to the other side. It's the same with adversity. You have got to focus on the other side, and that helps you get through it. You have to put one hand over the other and keep going. You don't have to know how God will bring you to where you should be. You just need to have faith. I trust and know that I'm not doing this thing by myself. I know that my blessings aren't because I'm perfect and have never made any mistakes, or that I have never failed. I have failed more times than I have succeeded. I know that it is God's grace that has allowed me to keep moving forward in my life. I'm always open to God's plan for me. I'm always ready to jump to the next level because my life has taught me that God's plan for me will always be greater than I can imagine. That's the beauty of jumping. You never know where you will land. Even if you fail, you can still end up with opportunities or skills or connections that you wouldn't possess if you hadn't tried. This road that I am traveling now has given me access to opportunities that I didn't even know were possible. The more time you spend thinking about failures or things that didn't work out, places that you didn't go, connections that you missed, or ones who got away, the less time you have to enjoy exactly where you are right now and to consider where you can go next. One of the last jobs I had at Ford was working in the foundry where they make engine blocks. Engine blocks start with a scrap metal. The scrap metal is put into a furnace, and then melted down. The liquid metal is then poured into a mold. When the liquid is poured in, it is a very hot liquid. Then a crane comes along and pulls the hot liquid out of the frame, dips it, cools it, and refinishes it. Then it goes on a conveyor belt. My job was to hit it with a sledgehammer to make sure that any loose metal fell away. Now you have an engine block. It is a part of the engine that drives a car. But you have to realize that engine blocks started from scraps, from barely nothing. God can take that scraps of your life, turn them into your engine of determination to succeed and help you soar high than you have ever been before. You don't have to wait to be perfect to jump. Nobody's perfect. I'm certainly not. The richest, most successful, most well-known people aren't perfect. They did the best with what they had and they never quit. That is how they got to where they are now. You don't have to wait to have every part of your life together. You can't be so proud that you refuse to let God work with the scraps of your life. You have no idea how He will mold your broken pieces into a perfect vessel. You can't even imagine how He will take your broken heart and put you back together again. You might be a high school dropout, but God can present to you the life experience that will give you wisdom surpassing that of any person with a PhD. Jumping to your next level of greatness isn't easy. If it were, you would see more people leaving dead-end jobs and unhappy marriages and getting to the business of finding their gift or going for the job of their dreams, but just because it's difficult doesn't mean that it is impossible. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't try to go beyond what you can see is possible in your life. When you take that first jump, it's gonna be challenging, but when you jump, learn to jump again and again. With each jump, you develop the confidence to take a bigger leap of faith. With every leap, you gain the faith to take on the next mountain on your path. The more you jump, the more you will look back and be amazed at how far God has brought